Parents of a 6-year-old transgender child in Colorado are fighting for the child's right to be recognized as a girl. Coy Mathis was born male but identifies as a female. The parents say Coy's elementary school announced she could no longer use the girls' bathroom for obvious reasons. Now they have filed a complaint under Colorado's Anti-Discrimination Act.
I believe that the wording of the law is very solid, and I believe that they are in direct violation of it. They are, in fact, discriminating, which the law itself is called the Anti-Discrimination Act. And I know that they state that they have been accommodating, but what they're doing is discriminating, forcing her to use a separate bathroom from all the rest of the kids, or forcing a little girl to go in the boys' room, and that's not okay.
So is this school's transgender ruling fairness or discrimination? Now that's the question. We have attorney Annalise Getz and child psychologist Donna Cascini. That's our power panel. We're gonna break this down to see what the parents' legal rights are, what the school's legal rights are, and to know, kind of get a better understanding what the psyche is behind the child and the parents involved. Welcome both Donna and Anna to our power panel. So let's dive right into this. Let's first talk about the kid, because I primarily care just about the kid. At 4 years old, I do. Kids
what am I even doing here?
No, but you know, at 4, kids come first. Kids come first. We know that. At 4 years old, is it possible to have transgender issues? I mean, she's a 4-year-old child.
Absolutely. Gender identity is formed by age 3. So if you look at Coy's story, apparently she knew by age 18 months that there was something going on that was different, and by age 4 was telling her family, I don't feel right inside my body. So gender identity is developed by age 3, and therefore we have the clinical term gender identity disorder of childhood.
Huh. But yet you told me about this couple, which is good. I just want to give the viewers another situation where parents can be crazy. Tell them about that other couple. Were they in Canada where they had a baby and they wouldn't tell anybody the sex?
In January of 2011, there was a Canadian couple that had a baby and gave it a general name and then wouldn't tell anybody if they'd had a boy or girl, to allow this child to decide for themselves.
Now that's a parents living vicariously through the kid.
That's a parent making a choice for the child before the child is born. Correct?
And that's crazy to me. And that's what I was worried about this situation. Is it the parents trying to get attention, or is this a real issue with a child? But you said it does happen at 3, and I didn't know that. That's surprisingly. So now, how important is it for this boy who wants to be thought of as a girl, because she's a girl in her mind, to go to the bathroom in the girls' restroom?
Well, I don't know the child, but if we were to extrapolate, we've talked about narcissism before. One of the times it's healthy and normal to be narcissistic is in the preschool years. And so for a child to be traumatized in some way at that age, that you can't do something, is very difficult and can be traumatic and have its own effects on the child. However, if you look at the other children that are in the school, 6-year-olds will play house, they'll look at each other, you show me yours, I'll show you mine kind of games, which are not that unusual. And that would be very traumatic for a little girl to go to the bathroom and see a male organ standing next to her.
That's what, I'm a mother of daughters, and I would tell you that I wouldn't want my daughters to go to the bathroom at a young age, my 8-year-old, and to see a penis. You know, she would know what that is. That would scare her, and I don't want, you know, so there's sensitivity issues here. Now, that is why I'm going to bring Anna into this whole conversation now. That is why the school has said we don't want her to go to the bathroom in the girls' room, because they're worried about the other parents and the kids. What do you think? What rights do the other parents have in the schools legally? I
think that when you look at this situation, first of all, it's a case of first impression. So it's the first time the Colorado courts will be looking at this. The law is on Coy's side. So you have the Colorado Anti-Discrimination Act, which specifically says you can't discriminate in a public place, which is a school, based on sexual orientation. They include transgender in that orientation, and you have to provide full and equal provision of services to those people. You can't discriminate. And then they have regulations that specifically say for transgender individuals, you can't prohibit them from using the segregated bathroom, locker room, what have you, of their choice. Now, that being said, it hasn't been tested in the courts, and I think that this is, although it's unfortunate that we're talking about a 6-year-old this is happening to. This is the process, and I understand that the school is saying, taking the position that they are, because if it's not Coy suing for her rights, then it's going to be another parent, another child suing to say, I don't want to have Coy in that restroom, and it's affecting my child's learning experience. Yeah. And so this is one of those things that inevitably the school needs to know where it stands. The school needs to know, should I allow it, should I not allow it? But I think if you look at the face of the statute, it's going to favor Coy and this 6-year-old.
It's very confusing, and it's hard because I know that a lot of parents wouldn't want that. And not all parents, you know, it's very confusing. And at this point now, how damaging is it to Coy? There's media attention, and obviously now the students are going to know what's going on.
Well, one of the things that we look at with this type of a situation is how well does it sit with the person's ego. So how ego syntonic it is, meaning that it's comfortable for them, I like the way I am, versus how ego dystonic it is, which is I'm uncomfortable with this in some way. Unfortunately, this whole situation is bringing a lot of negative light and a negative attention to Coy, whereas she might have been able to kind of skate by unnoticed in other interactions with her peers before, but this is going to draw a lot of attention to her.
And I would say that the school at some point in time is going to have to address it. I think it's unfortunate that it's this early, and there has been this discussion of at such a young age the parents are saying we don't want to have her community say that what you are is not okay, and we don't accept that. And I think that while we're talking about the detriment that might happen to Coy as a result of this, and we can kind of circle back to bullying, we've talked about bullying before, and how this could kind of tie into it, but I think that there's also a positive message here because the parents are supporting their child. They're supporting their 6-year-old, and if you watch the press conference, there's this ex-Marine dad, and he's holding her and he's saying every dad has a certain vision for their son, and that's not what Coy turned out to be. And I applaud those parents. I think that it's not something people using it as publicity. It's in general can be looked down upon in this society. So I applaud those parents, and I think in some ways maybe this will make Coy feel better about our situation and say, I have the support of my family here.
Well, the thing is, as a society, we're not used to dealing with these issues at such a young age.
Correct.
And it's affecting the siblings, and it's affecting other students, and that they're so young, and now they've got to learn all this stuff. They're like being catapulted into adulthood, and that's what I don't like. I like children to be able to keep their innocence. Let them be kids. Let them just play and have fun. It's like, how do you protect them? Because now you've got the parents involved, and you know there's going to be parents on both sides of the fence, right?
And children with gender identity disorder do grow up to be adolescents that are at increased risk for depression, for suicide, for STDs, and substance use. So it's already got its own set of stressors associated with it.
Well, this is a story that's going to continue to develop, so I hope you ladies come back and we'll discuss it further as it does develop. Thank you for joining us on Prime Time.
Thanks, Taylor.
Love having you both here. All right, we got to take a quick break. Prime Time, we'll be right back.